That's music. Mike and Marty on the beat. Mike and Marty. Mike and Marty.
Morning, Bellows Falls and Rockingham, and welcome to the feed. It's Mike and Marty. Today we're here with David Billings from our place, drop-in center. We're going to talk a little bit about our place and food insecurity in Vermont and southern Vermont and his new position. But first, Marty with the local events.
Yeah, so at the Bellows Falls Opera House this week, it is a mystery. I'm not sure. I've checked it a couple times, and I'm not sure what the movie's going to be for the weekend, but I'm sure it will be a good one. The classic movie tonight is Rent. And if you haven't seen it, I saw the Weston Playhouse performance of Rent. I've not seen the movie, but it's a good storyline. Mm-hmm. It's sponsored by Greater Falls Insurance. So if you're looking for something to do tonight, check out Classic Movie. We are coming into fall festival season.
Yes, we
and
are.
we have lots of things happening. So there will be a fall festival at the Moose on Saturday, September 24th, starting at 11 a.m. They're going to have a barbecue. They'll have raffle prizes. They'll have pumpkin carving, face painting, and then outdoor karaoke. So it sounds like it's an all-family event. And once again, we're coming up upon the weekend of the Fairy House Festival, which we've actually had, in the past, we've had folks in from the Nature Museum to tell you about the Fairy House Festival. It's a great thing for kids and families. It's happening out at the Grafton Nature Museum on Saturday and Sunday, the 24th and 25th of September, 10 to 4 each day. So mark that on your calendar. And then, of course, we have the Flannel Fest, Southern Vermont Flannel Fest, coming up October 15th and 16th at Rockingham Hill Farms. And I believe next week we have Charlie coming in to talk about that.
Not next week.
The week after. Okay.
Yeah.
That's right, because I'm so confused.
We're doing, yes.
We're both going on vacation next week, so we're taping one today for next week, and then okay.
Charlie's coming on the 20th.
Very confusing sometimes, folks. So that's what I've got for local events.
Yeah, and I have a couple. There's a new group in the area called Open Fields, and they're a performing arts foundation, I think. And I don't know if people remember the old Madrigal Inn out on. Yeah. They've renovated that space. They're going to be doing performing arts workshops, and they have an open house this weekend on the 17th. So you should check that out. I'm going because I'm just curious to see what they've done with the
space. It's right
space.
off of 103, right?
Yeah, it's off 103 on Brockway Mills, and then on Middle Road, right by the river. So it's a real nice setting. So if you get a chance to do that. The other thing is there's a Puppets in Vermont festival going on this weekend. So you should check around. Look that up on Google or Facebook. But Sandglass Theater's doing some work. Next Stage Arts has shows. So there's a variety of shows puppet shows going on this weekend that should be interesting. Alex is sending out a crew to do some filming. So we should have some footage next week. But that's that for local events. David, how are you?
I'm well. Thank you very much for having me.
Nice to meet you.
Yes,
and
absolutely.
Just tell us a little bit about yourself and then how you ended up where you are.
Okay, sure. My name is Dave Billings. I am the executive director of our place, drop-in center here in Bellows Falls. I live in Westmoreland, New Hampshire. I'm from northern New Jersey. There I owned a restaurant for 13 years. I decided one day that I had enough of that and sold everything that I had in New Jersey and decided to move up to New Hampshire. And so my wife and I moved up here, and we really love it up here. It's really, really great.
I can imagine.
Yeah.
Just New Jersey and restaurant together. That's sort of cringeworthy right there.
It's not for the faint of heart. I can assure you of that. It was definitely a very brutal business in Central Jersey, and it's one that I enjoyed doing, but I also enjoyed selling it and getting out. That was.
I can imagine it's sort of pastoral up here compared to New Jersey.
Yeah, so much more.
And the just personalities and stuff. There could be some abrasive people up here, but I don't think we have the training that New Jerseyites have.
I think it's the fact that we have a state about the same size in New Jersey as Vermont or New Hampshire with 7 times the people. I think that's where you get into the difference for sure.
So what kind of restaurant was it?
It was a diner. Yeah, it was a diner. It was, but it was a little bit more, a little funky place with strange decorations and a little bit weird names for things, and that's kind of my personality, a little bit, a little offbeat, a little bit.
Uh-huh. So this must dovetail right into this because it's sort of that day-to-day meal prep, shopping
Sure.
locally, doing all these things.
Trying to be efficient in the purchasing and that type of stuff as far as that's concerned. But, my passion's been food all my life. I think it's like we all share that common bond where, when growing up, we have, Thanksgiving or Christmas all around the table, and that's a very important thing. And, our place, Drop-In Center, it's our place. It's something we've taken possession of that, and we want to put our foot forward with that name and say, hey, we're here to take care of people, and maybe you don't have a table of your own or food to put on it, but we want to make sure that we can do that for you. And that's, I think, really the crux of what we're doing here.
Yeah, and it's become increasingly, the role of our place has become increasingly important.
Yeah, for sure. Like before COVID, we were only doing about 400 prepared meals a day, a month, and we're over 2,000 now. And we're seeing it's not abating; it's getting more and more every month. And we're doing that with the same staff and the same budget, and I think we're getting stressed and put to the max here. And so this is my job as I'm coming in now to try to raise more money and raise awareness of the work that we're doing and appeal to the community that we do need help. We do.
Yeah. So I'm sorry, Marty. I keep jumping in.
I was just going to say, we always have a pre-conversation sometimes before we start. And tell us a little bit about your clientele now that you was talking about some changes that you've seen.
I think a lot of the perception in the community is that, when you have a food shelf or a meal center like us, that the clientele that we have are homeless or in some way addicted to some kind of substance. And we do have that community, and we do service that community. But increasingly what we're seeing is people who are employed and who just can't make ends meet because of rising rents, the increase in fuel prices, obviously, and we're concerned that with oil going to be probably over $5 a gallon this winter, we're going to see a lot more people having to make the decision between putting oil in the tank, putting gas in their car to get to work, and putting food on the table. And we don't like that they have to make that decision about food, and we're here to make sure that doesn't need to be a decision that someone has to make. So we're here for anybody that needs food, and we have enough. But we need the support of the community to keep doing that, and that's
and just again for reference to the community, it's a food. You have a food shelf where people can come in and get food.
Correct.
But you also serve meals every day.
That's right.
And you give out meals, right?
We do. So we do. I think we do about 5 different things. So we serve breakfast and lunch to anyone who comes in, no questions asked. So anybody can come and have a hot meal twice a day, Monday through Friday, without any questions asked. You can also get supplemental groceries. All you need to do is provide your name and where you live, because we need to keep track of that. We want to make sure you live in our community. And that's about $75 per person for 2 weeks worth of groceries that we give out to anyone who needs it. So there's no, like I said, all you need to do is have a name and address, live in our area, and we're happy to give that to you. We also provide emergency food boxes for people who are displaced, in danger for some reason. If you're a victim of domestic violence and you find yourself in a place that you're not familiar with, we have food for you, and to make sure you're provided for that. We also administer the USDA food commodity boxes for people that are over 60 that meet the income requirements. We also provide that, and we do. On our own, we deliver meals to the elderly once a month who can't get out and have trouble getting out. So all they need to do is just give us a call, write down to us, and put your name on the list, and we'll deliver food to you. So those are the things that we do.
So it's
That's a
all
lot.
around.
It's a lot of work. We do a lot more than people think we do, yeah.
And okay, go ahead.
I was just saying, and you do this with a very small staff, right?
We only have 5 people, including myself, and it used to be 7 or 8 people. Volunteers are definitely tailing off as well. So we need the community to help us monetarily and voluntarily. So we can use some help. If there's anybody out there that wants to offer some help, please.
Okay.
like
And we'll
that.
have contact
Yeah.
information.
I
up
like
here.
that, monetarily and voluntarily, because I always think that there's a lot of folks that don't feel that they can give. They're kind of in the sort of the same position. They maybe don't have a lot extra, but maybe they have some extra time.
That's very valuable to us. Time is very, very valuable. We have lots of chores and tasks that anybody who's interested, we can put you to work if that makes you feel better, for sure.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
And obviously, to do all of this, you have to come up with a bunch of food.
Correct.
A boatload.
A lot. And we're,
An opera house full of
yes,
food.
an opera house full of food. Yeah, so yes, on September 22nd, we're going to have a food drive. I believe we're doing it every year. We're going to do it again this year. I think a little bit of departure from what we normally did is that we're asking people to go onto the box office website of the Opera House and purchase a seat. And that $25 donation represents a bag of food for a family that we can give to them. And that's the idea behind the Overflow the Opera House. There's 500 plus seats in the Opera House, and we'd like to fill them all by September 22nd. For $25 donation for each seat.
And I can attest to the fact it's easy to do. My husband did it last night. Got right on from his phone, right on the Bells Falls Opera House website. Click to events, and I think there's a donate button, and you just, or however it works, and you just buy however many seats you want. Give me your credit card. Easy peasy.
Yeah, not hard to do. And what's the advantage of getting money as opposed to food?
Sure. I mean, while we do appreciate in-kind donations of food, we will never refuse them, and we're always very appreciative of them. But we're finding that if we can take the cash, the dollar that we can spend on food on our end versus the regular consumer, it goes a lot further. And we really need to maximize our dollars now because there's a limited amount of money that we can gather from the community, but we really have a lot of work that needs to be done. So we're trying to be as efficient and expeditious as possible in the work that we're doing.
Yeah. I guess the other thing that's important is you're trying to do nutritionally balanced meals. So if people give 14 cans of baked beans,
Right.
that's hard. You have to match that with
Correct.
something
Yeah,
else,
yeah.
and or if you get boxes, it's nice to get them, but it also creates.
Yeah, and unfortunately, a lot of the food that's donated maybe people don't realize it's expired, and so we have to weed through that, and we lose a little percentage of that every time we get in-kind donations. And yes, we are trying to provide not only nutritious food but delicious food, and also locally sourced food, so that money stays within our community, and that's very important to us. Yeah. So again, the dollar that we get, we're using that dollar to spend within our community, and it goes a long way. So that's.
And I think what people forget about, like what Mike was just saying, the 16 cans of baked beans, or things like, you also want to provide people with a complete meal and the complete components they need for that. Like, I think it kind of probably a common thing to donate is maybe like macaroni and cheese or peanut butter. And well, if you have peanut butter, then you kind of need the jelly and you kind of need the bread.
Right.
And if you have cracked macaroni and cheese, you need the milk and you need the butter. And I think that sometimes people forget because you take it for granted. If you've never been food insecure, you don't know what it's like to not have those staples in your your kitchen. So you're just not realizing that sometimes those are great, but then you all have to come up with the supplements of
That's
those
absolutely
things.
correct. And we do provide the dairy. We have milk programs, and we're giving milk out and butter as well. But that costs money, and that's the thing that people don't realize when they're giving that. Like you said, when you give out in-kind donations, we have to provide the milk and the butter to make those dishes, and we do. And so, but we need cash to do that. So.
And $25 is, not in the reality of things. It's like, maybe you buy one less iced coffee a week or something, and then you're providing a family with a full bag of nutritious groceries that they really need, and sometimes it might be your next door neighbor.
Yep, absolutely. And that's a perfect, because there's 5,000 people that are food insecure in Windham County. And that's 12% that's 1 in 8 of our people that we see in our community are food insecure. And I don't think we realize how many people that really is. And that's in America, the richest country in the world, and there's 5,000 of us just in this little rural county in Vermont that need our help. And the other thing is, a third of those people that are food insecure do not qualify for any kind of federal or state assistance. So they are on their own.
They're working poor.
Correct. Yeah. So they are on their own, and we're increasingly seeing that demographic show up at our door. They just can't make ends meet with the rising housing prices, fuel prices, and the cost of food, because it's 25% more expensive in Vermont to feed yourself than it is the national average. So just in general, it's 25% more expensive here
And
in Vermont.
there were reports out yesterday that from this year, last year to this year, food costs have gone up 14%.
Yeah.
So,
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's
But
just-
job pays has not gone up
No,
they
for the
haven't
folks that
kept
are
pace.
working.
you haven't
Not
gotten
gone
that
up.
14% raise yet?
I've not gotten that 14%
Yeah,
raise.
and unfortunately, but the increases that we have seen in the average salaries here have unfortunately been, or fortunately, whatever, for whomever it is, but it's the upper level of,
Yeah,
of pay.
that's
Like, so
against
the people who are wealthy are getting more wealthy, but the people who are working and struggling are really getting the same pay that they were. So that's one of the problems
Yeah.
we're seeing.
And that's where when you were saying before that you did 400 a month as opposed to 2,000 a
Right.
month, that 2,000 is the people that are the working
Correct.
poor.
People that have
That-
full-time
It's
jobs.
increasing all the time because sort of the bottom has fallen out
Sure.
for those people.
If you, yeah, good, I'm sorry.
I was just going to say, you have some, I was just going to make sure that you had time to talk about some other events you have coming up too.
Sure, we have we also have the Empty Bowl. That's a nice, that's our premier fundraiser, and that's going to be November 6th at Allison's Orchard. More details will be on Facebook as that comes closer to time, if anybody's interested in participating.
Well, I
in
think
that.
there are quite a few people.
I think it's a pretty big, it's always been a pretty big event. It's a fun event.
Sure.
It's a great event to connect with people. Even before the pandemic, it was great because you would just run into everybody. And Allison's is a beautiful location, and the soups are always delicious. And I think in the past you've had Kern Hatton kids help. It's been a definite community effort. And then there's always a lively live auction for sure. And it's I think it was one of your main fundraisers.
It is
wasn't
actually, it's our
Yeah.
premiere, and I'm really looking forward to my first one. I'm a little naive to what it is, but I am super excited to be at it and lead it this year.
Great. Yeah, that's another thing we should bring up is you've been doing this for 6 weeks
Yeah,
now?
yes. So I'm very fresh in the job, and I'm spending the rest of this year to educate myself and
Yeah.
get myself up to snuff on the things that I need to do, and we'll hit the ground running starting January. I'm looking really forward to doing it. This
Yeah.
is my favorite job I've ever had in my life. So I skip to work every day doing this.
Oh, great. Well, that's good
Yeah.
news. Because, well, like we were talking before, it's like this is your first venture into nonprofit
This is true.
business, too. And that that can be
It's an
interesting.
adventure.
It's an adventure,
It's an
yeah.
adventure. It's like
Right.
do a whole bunch of stuff with no money.
That's exactly what it is. Yeah. So it's but I guess I got a lot of training in doing a for-profit business with that. So there's a lot of skills that I'm bringing to the table that I think will be very good for our place, and I'm looking forward to trying to take all the experiences that I had in my past and bringing them to bear.
Well,
here.
good. I'm sure you're going to have the energy to do it because you seem like you're very
I'm
dynamic.
very excited about the work that I do.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm very passionate about food and food insecurity. I grew up food insecure as a young person, so I understand what that's like. Everybody that works at our place has experienced food insecurity.
Mm-hmm.
We try to hire from within that community. I think it just keeps you passionate about what you're doing, and we're all very passionate about the work we're doing. There's only 5 of us doing all this work every day, so we have to be passionate. If we weren't, we wouldn't be able to achieve the work that we
Yeah,
are doing.
yeah.
So.
And also, I would say that you have a really open door policy when you were, if people were wondering about this and saying, oh, I'm not sure, they could come and visit our place.
Our place is always open to anyone
Yeah.
who wants to come and see what we're doing. Happy to talk to anybody. If you're just even curious and you want to say hi, poke your head in, we'll let you in and we'll show you around. And happy to.
Yeah, out on the island. Everybody knows where the island is.
Absolutely.
So go out there and check it out. And I think we might have some contact information.
We do. We should have contact information page. So it's ourplacevermont.org is the website. info@ourplacevermont.org for inquiries, and old-fashioned phone number for those is 802-463-2217.
Excellent. Yep.
Yeah, it looks like I guess we don't have a contact page.
Oh, I guess okay,
Hasn't come
that's
up.
fine.
Yeah,
Well,
that's good.
You can find us on Facebook too.
okay, Facebook also. And drop in.
Yeah, stop there.
Call, and don't feel like you can only give while these events are going on.
Sure. We'll take any, even if it's $1, we'd be happy to take it. If you can't afford a $25 seat at the Opera House, stop by on the 22nd and give what you can. We'd be happy to
Yeah.
really genuinely appreciate all the help that the community gives us. And we are so grateful. And our corporate sponsors, we're very much appreciative of all of them.
Okay. Anything else?
No, I think I feel like I'm very happy that we had the opportunity to talk
Yeah.
about our place here with you guys, and hopefully this will be the beginning of something great.
Yeah, great.
Awesome.
How are we doing?
We are just about right on schedule for the
the-
premiere of Tuba Skinny on
All right.
on the feed. Or maybe not the premiere though. We might have had Tuba
I
Skinny in the
don't.
past.
We may have done them last year too, because
Right.
everybody knows, I like Tuba Skinny. They're my favorite group, and I talk about them all the time. Saw them play
Now
last
you're going to
week,
get to see them, community.
and you'll get to see them. And so here's Tuba Skinny doing a song called 6 Feet Under.
If you ask me one thing, I'll tell you, darling, we ain't got time for sitting around. If you be waiting on your lover, but he's gone and found another, well, it's gonna get on up and leave this town. He asked me how am I still laughing? Well, his world is falling down. I'll be laughing till I'm dead, my little darling. Be laughing till I'm 6 feet down. But the sun still shines as we pass by. I'll be laughing till I'm dead, my little darling. Be laughing till I'm 6 feet down. If you ask me one thing, I'll tell you, darling, we ain't got time for sitting around. If you be waiting on your lover, but he's gone and found another, well, it's time to get on up and leave this town. He asked me how am I still laughing? Well, his world is falling down. I'll be laughing till I'm dead, my little darling. Be laughing till I'm 6 feet down. Thank you.
Local news, politics, business, sports, arts, music.